Happy Monday, October 5th, 2020, Future History Podcast. De Blasio and Cuomo are locking things down again, as you may have seen.
Yeah, several area codes they're keeping down. Or zip
Primarily codes. Orthodox Jewish communities.
Well, they don't like them.
No,
they don't like them.
I guess not.
No. They weren't supporting de Blasio in a lot of things, and he kind of seems like he...
They also have huge gatherings.
They do.
With
they
no
do.
masks.
They
and do their dance.
Yes, they do. So, this day in history, 1795, day after he routed counter-revolutionaries in Paris, Napoleon Bonaparte accepts their formal surrender. 1880, the first ballpoint pen is patented on this day by Alonzo Cross. 1882, outlaw Frank James surrenders in Missouri, 6 months after his brother Jesse James's assassination. 1915, Bulgaria enters World War I on the side of the Central Powers. 1915, Germany issues an apology and promises payment for the sinking of the British ship Lusitania, which had 128 Americans that lost their lives on it. 1921, the World Series is broadcast for the first time on radio. 1943, the Japanese Imperial Forces execute 98 American POWs on Wake Island. 1947, Harry Truman delivers the first televised White House address. Now, I think about that really quick. My father was born in 48. So within his lifetime, just before, a year before he was born, was the first televised presidential. Now you look at, it's just incredible, the technology in half a century. 1962, the first James Bond film, Dr. No, debuts. 1969, Monty Python's Flying Circus debuts on BBC One. And finally, in 1970, public broadcasting station is established. 1970. Birthdays today: Chester Arthur, which was the 21st president of America. 1902, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's in 1955. He was born in 1902, that is. And 1943, Steve Miller of Steve Miller Band fame is born. 1957, Bernie Mac. And my personal favorite hockey player, and in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, the best hockey player of all time, Mario Lemieux, born 1965. And that is today's days in history.
I like presidents that no one knows of.
Yes, yeah, very interesting. Yes, you look at some of those guys. I love looking at the picture. I always did ever since I was a kid. Now I've looked at them so many times. Just like the old pictures of the presidents, and you see some of those guys.
Like Buchanan.
Yeah,
what did he
Buchanan, do? Garfield.
I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the status quo. Yeah. John Quincy Adams. You had really guys that just kind of. You had all these James Polk.
Yeah. It's strange.
Yeah.
We probably really only talk about 15.
Yeah.
Of the 45.
Sure, if that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And when you look at I looked at a chart the other day about the wealthiest presidents, which was interesting.
I think Donald Trump is now the wealthiest one.
Yeah, Donald Trump. Barack was number 5, so it wasn't like he came in a poor man. And the poorest president of all time was Harry Truman.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he had a lot of failures in his life before he became president. A lot of real estate failures and business ventures and...
Just went broke.
Yeah, so he never... and then they actually... they had to institute certain things after he retired in order to support him because he really had no money,
Wow.
So
that's weird.
Yep. I believe he picked up the first Social Security check when they had them or something, or the first Medicare card. I think the first Medicare card. Something that was the first, I believe it was the Medicare card. And my
That's
Social Security
strange.
was earlier than that. Yeah. So it is, but it was, some of them were very wealthy. A lot of the guys, especially the first few presidents, were very wealthy. Trump, though, like you said, is probably the wealthiest at this point. But there were some surprising ones, and so a lot of families had individual wealth before they. Kennedys would be one of them. They were very wealthy. His father was a bootlegger, among
Yeah.
other things. So now let's get to one of the main topics of the day, and that is this coronavirus that has attacked the White House.
Yeah.
Now, I like the fact that Trump, posted some messages to the people and tried to show that he's hanging in there pretty well with it. You could spin this any way you want. I mean, the left right away was attacking. Once they saw that he got it, it was like open season on him, and some of the things they would wish him well, and then it was like, boom, this is what you get. This is what you get for not wearing a mask and so forth. But it seems like he's recovering fairly well, and if he can actually continue to recover well, he could use this to his advantage, just like the left was using it to their advantage. So we'll see. So your weekend, how was it?
It was good.
Yeah?
But no, let's go back to this.
You want to chat about it? Okay,
Yeah,
let's hear your thoughts on it.
I don't know. I think we got to see. Like how people are saying he'll be out of the hospital today.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, how long has he got to remain in quarantine for?
it's got to be like 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Or until he doesn't test positive for COVID.
Yeah.
And then I wonder what's going to happen with debates now.
Well,
I mean, it's like a less than a month away, the election.
you know what's very funny is that all of a sudden now, Biden, whenever he speaks, is covered in a mask now. Like, it's like just typical. He wasn't prior to that. He wore masks and things when he was like shaking hands, but when he was coming up to speak on a microphone, he wasn't covered with a mask. Since this, he now is. And I myself personally, I do not want to see another shutdown like there was. I just don't think that that's the right way to go about it. And I'm hoping that Trump, not only for his own sake, recovers quickly, but hopefully it'll show that this can be beaten. This is something that we can beat without mass shutdowns. People catch it, whatever, you take care of it. Maybe you don't catch it, and you move on. Because it's they'll highlight this before they highlight the recovery of the economy. This kind of took away some of the luster of that. So,
Well, he's doing. I like that he's like still wears like the suit, but he doesn't have his tie on. His
Trump, yeah.
Still,
Well, that's his
he's
sick.
unbuttoned.
Yeah, even like
that's a sick outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy like when he comes down to dinner at night,
Yeah.
he's got like a leisure, like not a leisure suit, but like a sports jacket on.
Yeah,
and,
like
he's always dressed
up,
Yeah. Well, his
as he should be.
he was like that. I watched an interview many people have with his butler, and that was a very interesting interview. He said that certain things Trump was very, very fastidious with, and that was, for instance, he hated when people were late. That drove him nuts. Anybody was late for a meeting or anything like that, just drove him up a wall. He hates people that dress sloppily. He doesn't like when people show up and they look like, a schlub to have a meeting. And this was this was back in his business days. He just didn't care for it. He was very big on, the guy said he was a red meat type of guy. He just liked his burgers, cheeseburgers all the time, and steaks, and said what else? Trying to think of some of the other things that this butler said. He said he was one of the most generous, warmest people when you get to know him that he's ever met. And this was just an old guy. I don't think he even worked for him anymore. And he said that when Trump would get angry, he would have like a blow up, and he would scream, and you're in the corner seething at him, and then like 5 minutes later he just forgets that he was mad at you, and it just goes on. But he had certain things though that he was very very on top of.
Characteristic.
Yeah, he hated. One time the butler said that he pulled a suit down, and the suit was I guess the cleaners did something to the lapels and they were sticking out or something, and he said that was one of the angriest he'd ever seen Trump. He was very, very big on his appearance. They also interviewed his barber. which was interesting.
Yeah.
And
That
the
is
barber said that if it wasn't for Trump, he wouldn't be in business today, not because Trump got his hair cut there, but Trump gave him a very good tip on real estate. And the guy's rent, he said, Trump said, get out of this neighborhood quick because the rents are about to go through the roof. Guy moved his shop, and he said if he didn't move it at the time he did, he would have been crushed. So he was very thankful for that. But he said Trump, would tell him basically cut here, cut there, cut here, cut there. All right, it's too much, cut there. And then he said Trump took care of the top himself. At home, he would cut his own hair and stuff. So,
detail.
Yeah, he said it was a lot of work to cover up his bald spot. So he was nice. It was just interesting. It was interesting behind the scenes look. And
I wonder if his hair is hard or if it's soft. Like if it's like
hair,
held
I'm
in
sure
place.
it's hair-sprayed. It's probably very
There's
hard.
something there, yeah.
Yeah.
But it looks soft.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's amazing.
He does a good job covering the bald spot. However, he
Yeah,
does
it looks like he's got a lot of hair.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he manages
very
the top.
long,
Yeah.
and he swirls
yes,
it
he
around.
manages the top himself, and the barbers just kind of keep it neat around. He's an interesting guy, Trump.
It's like you.
Oh yeah, I don't cut the
Yeah.
top though. Except I don't have any bald
It's
spots.
like reversed.
So thank God.
Yeah, true. True. Got a lot of hair.
Yeah, thank God. We'll see. That can also change when you
Yeah.
get older. You never know. But as of right now,
A lot of times, though, by your age, if you have your hair, you're going to have your hair.
well, I run into people that I went to high school with, and I would say a good, at least 3/4 of them have lost their hair. So it happens. I mean, if it happens to me, I'm just going to shave
it's
it.
definitely stress related.
Well, that's for sure. My grays, I have some grays. The top isn't too gray, but the sides are pretty gray. So I think that's stress related. I mean, people get old. Everybody has stress. It's not easy. You'll see when you get to be. I remember I used to tease my father as he was getting older, and he's like, "Wait till you get to be my age, we'll see." And he's right. As you age, it gets more and more difficult to.
Yeah.
And as far as hair goes, I don't know where that came from because both of my grandfathers were completely bald.
Really.
Yeah. And my mother has a phenomenal head of hair. So
Yeah,
I don't
she's
know.
got a lot of hair.
I mean, for her age, even for any age, she's just got a thick head of hair.
Yeah.
She
and
always
she takes
had.
good care of it.
She's always had when I was a kid, she had hair down to her rear end. It was just long, straight.
Yeah.
I mean, she has wavy hair naturally, but she blew it straight, and but always thick head of hair, and she still has just a beautiful head of hair. So hopefully, I get some of her genes. But if not, out comes the razor, and I'll just buzz it, shave it down. That's all.
It happens.
Yeah, there are worse things in the world than that.
You wear your ski cap.
That's all. My friend always he goes like, why do you wear a hat? If I had hair, I would. Because the poor guy doesn't have any hair.
One day we should do like a reveal
Yes.
of like what's under the cap.
Yes, just a lot of hair.
A lot of people want to know.
A lot of hair.
I've gotten that question.
Oh yeah.
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 But
I bet you people think I'm bald and I wear a hat because of that reason. I know it.
I mean, there's that guy
Yeah.
Tim Pool. He always
Yeah.
has a hat on. I don't
Yeah.
know why. It's always the same
Yeah.
exact hat. Some people just do that.
I just like where I
I
always
mean,
wore. I wore.
you
a
had it
baseball
in
hat.
like August, like July though.
I always.
Which is
Well, you
kinda
notice.
crazy.
I always wore. I just always wore hats, and that's really supposedly not good for your hair, but. I think also if I go to the gym and stuff, I don't really like to do my hair until I'm done. So I don't know. It's easier to throw a hat on, but
So now we know.
now we know. When I was teaching, I just used to slick it back. That's all.
Yeah, slick back is the look.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a boring, quiet Monday.
it is.
I really
That's
don't have any.
That's not a bad thing necessarily, but
There was a lot of anxiety in the air though the day that the COVID thing broke with Trump.
well,
It's kind of subsided a little bit. So
yeah, I think that it's again, I expected to see the left happy to, not happy. Actually, some of them were probably happy, but Nancy Pelosi, you could see when they asked her, but that's what you get when this brazen not wearing a mask and blah 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 blah. Meanwhile she's out getting her hair done and stuff.
Not
and this
wearing a
is-
mask.
Yeah, I mean, so look, anything and everything.
They don't have to deal with the amount of people that Trump has to deal
Right.
with.
Anything and everything is politicized. So anything that, at this point especially, anything that Trump does or says,
Yeah, it's to be expected,
it's,
so I don't even care what they say.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be my only hope. You know, what I'm actually impressed with is all the gatherings for Trump that they had. There was
Big
one at
time.
the Dennison buildings in Hop Hog yesterday. There was supposedly a big one out in front of the White House. There's people now. You know,
People
there are
painting like portraits of Trump.
Yeah. So he definitely has his supporters. I mean, there's no question
there's no
about it.
shortage of that.
No, but they're trying to say, wow, now that Trump came down, you know, Biden's numbers went through the roof.
I heard the opposite.
You did?
That's the thing. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
believe shit.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, I'm
believe
curious
these
what you
polls.
heard.
I just heard the opposite. That's
See?
what I heard.
Yes.
But I don't believe it. I don't believe any of it. I think Trump's just going to win, and I think it's going to be just like Hillary. It's not even a question.
God willing.
It's funny. A lot of really wealthy people support Joe Biden.
Yeah.
When I go to Stony Brook and all
Sure.
these areas, you see Biden.
So you have a lot of
signs.
liberal Jews
It's
over there.
weird.
That's why.
But not just there, it's just anywhere.
Yeah.
But anywhere it's like affluent. I noticed there's some,
Mm-hmm.
but in like middle class neighborhoods like this one, it's amazing how it's
very odd in
It's
some
very
cases.
weird.
And
Yeah.
that's more to the fact of who he is.
right.
You
He
know,
speaks
a lot,
to the real person.
Yeah. He's an old time. You know, he's an old school New Yorker. That's what he is. Deep down, that's what Trump is. I mean, you know, he also had some interesting thoughts about why he eats fast food, which I found interesting. To him, and I know you're gonna not agree with this because you're a chef, but this is just not me saying it. It's him saying it. According to him, he felt, you know, it would take one burger for a place like McDonald's to go under. One bad piece of meat somebody eats and drops dead from it. And, you know, the whole franchise could go under if there's that, you know, that type of bad strain of meat or something. The fact that they've been around all these years, you know, and there's no major issues.
Yeah, because they serve you cancer patties.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just saying what
I'm
his. Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying you are. I'm
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
the president
Yeah.
directly.
It's like
It's
he has
Monsanto, GMO, cancer,
Yeah,
death.
he has all his like, you know.
And he's also been able to afford top-notch health care from before he could walk.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I
Certain
don't know.
things, like, piss me off. That's one
Yeah.
of them. Like, I love the guy.
Yeah,
But there
I mean,
are certain
I don't
things...
take these things personally.
Yeah.
Everybody
but
has
there's
their own
some-
opinion.
Yeah, sometimes he says general things, like
Yeah.
anyone does.
Sure.
And sometimes they piss me
Yeah,
off.
like he said, he has all his hair because of the fries at McDonald's. He said
All the
supposedly.
grease.
It's like I don't know. You know.
I love McDonald's home for hash brown patty.
Yeah, I mean,
They got something with their
wouldn't
potatoes.
be around this long if it wasn't something to
It's
it.
addictive.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I loved it. I couldn't wait till Saturday nights. It was like a treat. But
All right, so I want to talk about racism and food for a minute, if
let's
that's all
do
right.
it. Yeah,
Seriously.
Yeah.
People
Let's do
talk
it.
a lot of smack about Chinese food restaurants.
Okay.
MSG, poor quality meats.
Cats, dogs.
Cats, dogs. It's screwed up.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
What?
It's not the case.
Mm.
Ever. It's generalizations from their home country.
Yeah. Yes.
But when they come here,
Mm-hmm.
most Chinese places, if you really look, they're very efficient.
Well, what's
They're-
amazing is they're out in the open. You can see everything.
But you
that
know
they're
who
doing.
actually does that? McDonald's, Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones using MSG. They're the ones putting Subway's bread doesn't classify as bread in most countries.
Right. Right.
Because of the level of sugar.
Yeah.
So to say that the food's because that's what they try to pin on Chinese food.
Yeah.
It's addictive. It's got MSG. In most
Does
cases,
it have MSG or it doesn't?
occasionally?
Yeah.
Some places do, some
Yeah.
places don't. But so does every fast food chain
Mm-hmm.
in the United States. McDonald's, Burger King, Popeyes. You
Mm-hmm.
notice they don't use good quality salt. They're using that iodized fine salt on
Mm-hmm.
their fries. That stuff is toxic.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
All
know
the things that people say, though, and this is
They
racism.
blame it on Chinese.
It's Chinese, but actually it's the American businesses that are doing it.
Hmm.
Chinese you can't get broccoli at Burger King, can you?
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
can't get carrots and things like. You can get
Yeah.
burgers and fries. But you
Chinese
should look into it.
restaurants have some real. Well, I always found, like I said, to me, the one thing, the saving grace with Chinese places for me was that when you walk in, you're really seeing how the food is prepared. I mean, that's pretty cool that for a fast food place, everything is out in the open.
You know, like yesterday, I was getting Starbucks, and next to the Starbucks was a McDonald's, and there was 2 employees sitting outside having lunch,
Yeah.
and they were morbidly obese eating McDonald's. I mean, like, I'm a little chubby, but I'm different level of obese.
Right,
You
right,
know
right.
what I mean? And I just think it's amazing how, like, McDonald's gets the pass, Burger King gets the pass, Taco Bell gets the pass, Subway even gets the pass. But everyone always has something to say about Chinese food. It's just something I notice, and it really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because in all reality, Chinese food is some of the cleanest food, in my opinion.
I
They use
think
soy
it,
sauce.
yeah. I think it gets it, like you said, because of the
That's
home
racist, though.
country, you know?
They don't do that here.
Yeah. I mean,
Has it happened once?
yeah.
Could have. But Ecuadorians buy guinea pigs from Petco.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like,
No, I know. I don't. Like you said, it is something that is
it's
kind of
racist,
racist.
bottom line.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the laundry list of things that these fast food chains in this country do.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I'm not saying I won't eat Popeyes once in a while
Yeah.
or have my Taco Bell.
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, because
And
I've
Da-
always
and you
heard
know-
that about Chinese places.
You know who
too.
David Chang is? He's like he's a famous chef.
No.
He's got a lot of shows.
Okay.
And but he's a Korean guy. He's really
Okay.
cool.
Mhm.
And he has this show on Netflix called Ugly Delicious.
Mhm.
And at one point, like, him and Anthony Bourdain were talking, and David Chang brought that up, and it was something I never thought about. And I was like, you know what? That's a little bit of perspective for you. Asian people oftentimes do get, like, the shit end of the stick, and they are a minority, but
Yeah.
they don't cry about it.
They're,
You know what I
they
mean? They're very
succeed.
stoic, and they
Yeah.
do what they got to do. Until
Well,
they
that's
can
something that has always been an argument, with minorities. Is like there's only certain minorities
Right,
that they look
right.
at, but then those minorities say, well, they weren't forcibly dragged here against their will. There's always the yin to the yang, so to speak. With these arguments
Yeah.
on race, it's tough.
I know, it's
mean,
tough. It is
know.
tough. Because I could easily say you weren't dragged here against your will either. You were born to your mother and father here. So,
Right? No, I know.
You know, it's
I try
People
not to even. Yeah, I mean, I try not to stick my toes in too much with that. I'll talk about it and stuff, but it's hard to. But you're right. As far as people don't generally identify when they think of like racism or when they think of minorities that get. Asians are never brought up. Meanwhile, they come and they struggle. They work very hard.
Yep.
They achieve amazingly in education.
I've never heard an Asian person, and this is probably even like racist, but it's positive for them.
Yeah.
I've never heard an Asian person complain about anything.
Yeah. No, I respect.
you?
I respect that race of people for many things.
Yeah.
There are some differences, but I've got.
They're usually though like pretty on our side. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
don't have
thing.
any. I've never had any issues with. I've never had any issues with anybody really, but I just more white.
Some of them know how to party too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they gamble. Like
Well, what they do, a
it's
lot
cool.
of them did. They would rent these off-campus houses by Stony Brook,
Yeah.
and man, holy cow, the parties that they have at these houses
Asian
are
kids?
insane. I had some kids that worked for me that lived in one of the houses, and they had to move out because they said that, man, this Chinese girl and her friends have this house
And they're
because
nuts.
every night they have these freaking crazy parties,
Ragers, yeah.
destroying the house. And he's like, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I got work the next day, and they're till 5 a.m, 6 a.m. partying, and they, drugs all night, and
That's how they roll.
yeah.
Whatever.
Well, what's interesting too about a lot of the Chinese, when I was going to school, there was about 5 or 6 Chinese kids in my area, general area, and my brother was friends with some of them as well, and all the parents, both parents were always in the city working. I don't know what they were doing. It was always, whenever I'd ask what your parents do, it was import-export. So I don't know what they were doing.
They were doing something.
Yeah. And
They were importing goods from China.
the kids were always home on their own. And I found that
Inspiring.
their grades, at the end of the day, their grades
They
were
still
always,
did what they had to
still
do,
did what
yeah.
they had to do. It's like that very but that's when you look at how they're raised in their own countries, education is
Often, I mean, how many times have you walked into a Chinese restaurant and seen the little kids sitting at the table doing homework?
Yeah. Well, look, this goes back to what I've been saying, and we've kind of been saying since the beginning of the show. The answer in many cases to the societal ills is education.
Yeah.
That's why that race achieves so much, because
They emphasize their educations.
Right. And they don't laugh at somebody who achieves within their race.
Right.
You know, and shun them, and then they look at the lowest forms.
South Korea and Japan are very successful countries.
Oh.
I mean, they I don't know what their quality of life is because of how
South
much they
Korea
work.
is very high quality of life. People are, you know, there's not.
You don't see a million of them over here. You
No.
know, like they're there.
No, South
Same with
Korea.
Japanese people.
South Korean, they have their own culture. Like you said, there's that K-pop. There's a lot going on over
They
there.
have Samsung,
Yeah,
which is a mega corporation.
yeah, there's a
you know?
lot going on over there. But that country itself, you could see the difference between South Korea and North Korea as far
Or
as
in Vietnam and
the average
Yeah.
height between South Korea and North Korea is completely different.
The
The average weight,
yeah.
the life expectancy is different, because the people are able to thrive in that country as compared to their neighbors to the north, who are the same race.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It really is crazy
Yeah.
how there was that divide.
isn't it?
Yeah,
And that's the most heavily militarized zone in the world.
And then also the Pakistani-Indian border
Yes,
as well.
very, very heavily.
Same
armed.
race.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean,
Just
Muslim, Islam,
that
Hindu,
really, yeah,
but,
that's the difference. But
there's a ton of Muslims in India
yeah,
as
there's
well.
a lot of
It's
absolutely.
it's very weird.
Isn't it? It's
Yeah.
very strange. Very strange.
what's
Some of the
happening here.
divisions. Yeah. Yeah.
If it kept going at this rate for a long time and things really amped up, that's what the Civil War was.
Some of these divisions around the world are just very odd. You know, like you said, Pakistan and India. You know, the people, if you put an Indian and a Pakistani next to each other, you couldn't tell who was who.
No. Just
From
like,
in the most cases.
just
Some
like if you took a regular Northerner and a regular Southerner or a West Coast guy and an East Coast guy.
yeah. But it's
Well, maybe
like
the
they
West
just-
Coast guy might be a girl, so we don't know. You know.
Well, I know for India down in the southern part of the continent, you know, of the subcontinent, they are darker down there, but that's just due to the sun. You know, but it's just based on a religion, and you know that's how it got divided up. But as far as North Korea and South Korea, very interesting. If you want to look at the difference between a communist-run country
Right.
and, you know, as far as how the people thrive in this economy and this type of government, look at Korea.
Yeah.
So all the people, you know, there are communists in this country that would
Love
love
that.
to see America vote. Go take a look at Korea and see the difference. Look at the statistics of the people. Life expectancy is completely different due to the fact that there's a communist government. I mean, it's plain
I
as
think
day.
like a lot of atheists also tend to have like communist
lean more to
lean more
communism.
towards
Sure.
communism for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Well, which is odd because then
Right?
you
Like
know,
China pushes atheism on its
Yeah.
population. That scares me a little bit.
because they just want
political
government.
focus.
That's
Right,
it.
Yeah.
The government is God. The government is everything. You don't need religion. You don't need
Yeah.
this. You just need the government. And that's very
It's freaky.
Yeah, it is. It is. But you know, some countries were put together also, and you're seeing parts of Eastern Europe were not supposed to be a country. They just after World War II, they just said, "Okay, let's draw here. We'll put this country, you know,
With
the
that
Czech
one.
Republic
Yeah.
with Slovenia or this or that, you know, and you get Czechoslovakia,
Right.
Yugoslavia, you know, all these countries that are just like, and then that's why the people end up in having a civil war.
Right, because they hated each other forever, and then you just told them they're part of the same
Iraq,
place.
you had all these different tribes put together that were just no business being a country. And after World War II, that was the easiest way economically and politically was to just draw these barriers. And they figured making these barriers, you're keeping all these tribes under one government who can rule with a heavy hand, and then it makes it less work for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Having a guy like a Saddam Hussein running Iraq, you see what happens when he gets taken out of power, and then you have all these, you get some guys that are real radicals then taking over, and there's a lot of infighting, and you just trying to becomes almost like a feudal system, and they're trying to do away with that. But it was much cleaner. That's why they did it. But as far as the communist and the democracy, I mean, there's no way if you look at Korea, you could think that that's a good thing. So,
No,
I don't know.
it's disgusting.
Now, what's the difference between like a Korean food and a Chinese food? Like, what's one of the...
There are similarities and there are
Mm-hmm.
differences.
Yeah.
China's like a
Like, if
massive-
I went to... I know what I would get. Let's say I went to a Korean-American type of restaurant.
yeah.
Like when you go to the Chinese restaurant, you could go to any one in the country.
A Korean American restaurant's different though from a Korean restaurant.
Yeah. I've never had Korean food.
I have.
What
It's
is?
good.
What did you have?
It's like a hot pot. You know what that
Which is what? Yeah,
It's like a
I've heard of it, but it's...
big pot
Yeah.
they put on the table
Yep.
under a fire.
Mhm.
And there's all kinds of things in there. It's in like a spicy red broth. You got crabs, lobsters,
Mm.
slices of beef, whatever, And that's at least what I had. And then they eat like a lot of kimchi.
Yeah,
which
what is
like
my father
fermented,
mentioned cabbage
it's
or something?
fermented Napa cabbage that's in like a chili paste. So it's spicy. I could eat it right out of the jar.
It's
like I
spicy.
could eat a whole jar
It's
of it.
supposed. Yeah, I always wanted to try it.
It's good. It's good for you.
See,
It's fermented. It's awesome.
I've always been very finicky. Even I remember being 4 years old, and my mother trying to give me Chinese food, and I was almost like I was scared of Chinese people.
Now I know where Michael got his fear of tacos. Remember that?
So so I wouldn't want to
Genetic.
eat Chinese food, and I don't. I'm not afraid to admit that these are the reasons.
Yeah.
Certain people, I just don't want to eat their food. But I've become, as I've gotten older, I've loosened the reins on that a little bit as far
But why
as
wouldn't
trying.
you want to eat their food?
I don't know. Maybe I was.
Maybe
I think
you,
when I
maybe
when I
it's
was
that
scared,
prejudice that the whole country has.
When I know, but this is when
It
I was
affects
4 years
people.
old. When I was a kid, I was like scared of
But
them.
how long did that last? Did it end?
No, I ate it as I got older. But when I was like 4 or 5 years old, I remember going and I was scared of them, like as
Yeah,
a little
I mean,
kid.
I get that.
So that's why I just think I
my
didn't.
mistake.
But Korean food I've never had.
Korean barbecue, like there's
I've
a place
seen
on
that.
347
Yeah.
called Zambop,
Yes.
and like you sit down, they give you these nice. I mean, you can get a bunch of different things, but Korean barbecue is good, and they give you like thin slices of like steak or pork or whatever. Some of it comes marinated in a nice Korean like sweet soy type of deal, and you just grill it and you eat it.
So they call it Korean
They
barbecue
make
because
really
of the way
good
you cook
scallion
it.
pancakes, better than I think the Chinese place.
Okay.
They're a little thicker. They have a little more like something to
Huh.
it. They throw some shrimp in there sometimes.
Yeah.
It's good. But then like real Korean food is better.
Back in the 80s when
better.
my father used to get his dry cleaning done for work, I would go with him as a kid, and he'd always say to the Korean lady that he wanted to have some kimchi with her, or something about kimchi, and the woman loved my father for this. They were, oh, Mr. Frey, whenever he would come in, they loved him because he knew, kimchi, they were so
Yeah.
happy, Now food has become much more widespread, but
They do like braised short ribs and like their soy sweet. Their food, I think
is it spicy, their food
it
overall?
can be.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could just be savory and sweet. See, Asian cuisine, I think, all Oriental Asian countries is based on contradicting flavor. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Sweet with salty,
Yeah.
acidic,
Yeah.
like all the different things are supposed to be in every bite.
I always wanted to try.
Asian food is honestly superior in certain ways.
How so? Like, what's the criteria?
Like,
Quality-wise?
you notice, like Gordon Ramsay, for example, he's a classically French-trained chef. Forget
Okay.
about his TV stuff.
Right.
I'm just saying where he comes from.
Right.
He travels around the world to learn techniques from people sitting in wigwams.
Okay.
Because like it's just something about how they do things. Like I don't know, like the wok and the fire, and we really don't know what that looks like in America.
Right.
Like what they do is something totally different, and there's levels to it. Like Japanese chefs are some of the highest paid, most well respected
Yeah.
they're like masters. They're like samurais.
Interesting.
They
I
have
always
they get tunas that are 5,000-6,000 pounds.
Koreans, or just Asian in general. You mean
Japanese
Japanese?
guys, and they have these like they look like samurai swords, but they're like 3 feet long.
Yeah, because certain
And they-
cuisines are more popular, like Japanese. I mean, that food is like you see a sushi place in every shopping
See,
center.
the thing is though, people forget about ramen. And
Right.
I don't know why.
Is ramen Japanese?
Yeah. And it is totally the worst mistake that ever happened to ramen was Top Ramen, because that's what people think it is.
Gotcha.
And nothing could be further from what actual ramen tastes like.
What is ramen? Tell people exactly. I mean, is it like Top Ramen? Is that what it basically?
No, it's not.
What's the difference?
It's, first of all, the broth is the difference.
Okay.
The broth is just I don't know.
Tastes like chicken noodle soup. That's what it tastes like, basically.
Top ramen.
Yeah.
Does. Yeah, not regular, not like real Japanese ramen. It's just
And
the
what is the new? Are
the
the
noodles are
the
more
same?
al dente.
Yeah.
Like,
How can you not like
a
noodles
soft-boiled
and broth?
egg in
Yeah.
there?
Oh,
There's
wow.
like
Got it.
sesames and scallions.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
I get it.
The
I get it.
broth is like pork and shrimp combined, and they
How
reduce
can
it
you
for
not
days with
like
seaweed.
noodles in?
That was
broth?
Anthony Bourdain's favorite food.
Like
it was
how
any
can
kind of noodle.
How can you? Mine too.
Yeah.
Pasta's my favorite. Like I've been literally eating pasta.
And who do
every
you think showed the Italians?
Chinese, right?
Yeah. And the Japanese had the same.
Yeah. Rice noodles and
Yeah.
stuff.
Some things like.
How can you not like pasta? I don't get
I don't
it.
know. You got to be a weirdo.
Yeah, I don't know. I went to school with a kid. Well, my brother did that. I remember every year we had soccer parties, like at the end of the year, and they'd have pizza, and the kid, I don't like pizza, and
Yeah,
everybody's
get
like, yeah, like
here.
who doesn't like pizza? Like,
Yeah.
what fucking planet are you?
Yeah,
from?
I'd kick him out.
Yeah.
I'd like leave him destitute.
What are you nuts?
Yeah.
I don't like pizza.
Get out of the state, bro.
But pasta is like I love it.
To be honest, though, like
I
the
love
way the Japanese do it, they have
I'm sure I'd like ramen.
cold noodles where you dip it into the hot broth, and then I mean, there's just so many different
Yeah.
like variations.
But that what you just described, the ramen that you described, has
It's
got to
a-
be amazing.
it's Michelin.
Yeah.
There's a place in Long Island City called Mu Ramen, M-U,
Mm-hmm.
M-U Ramen,
Yeah.
and he's a Michelin-rated chef. He's actually a Japanese Jewish guy.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. And the place is really small, and it's like one long wooden communal table
Yeah.
with
What's the name of the place?
Mu.
Mu?
M-U. But he still cooks with pork and
Uh-huh.
shrimp and everything, you know.
Sure.
But it just, I found it interesting. Like,
Yeah.
Japanese Jew, he converted, you know.
Yeah. Very interesting.
But they do things there, like the kitchen's like, let's say at that wall,
Yeah.
and the table's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you see what they're doing, and it's like the guys.
So it's close proximity.
Close proximity, and you know it's not cheap either.
Yeah.
But the broths, they do like charred leek oil that they put on the top, like just like little touches like that. And then he comes over and they sous vide an egg, which sous vide is like heating something up with this machine in a vat of water.
Yeah.
That doesn't boil. It's like 150, like let's say like
Just
150
below.
degrees, and you do that for a while, and he comes up and he goes "Waching," and like cracks the egg right out of the shell, lands in your bowl
Wow.
like a ninja.
Wow.
It's insane.
Wow.
It's insane. These are the best meals I've ever
Yeah.
had in
But
my life.
but noodles in
peasant
broth,
food.
like how can you not like that?
It's
you know.
just peasant food.
What's funny is though, like the world's food is very similar when you really break
Think
it
about
down.
Yeah.
You know,
I
even
find
in
it
India, I
funny
was
though how
shocked.
in like northern United States, like we don't have like unless you're Hispanic, of
Yeah.
course, like the emphasis on rice. You love rice.
Yes.
You eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
You're like an exception.
Mhm.
A lot of people though like have no experience
Yeah.
cooking rice.
Yeah.
As far as gringos are concerned.
Yeah,
You know.
my mom made it a lot as a kid. You know, it was like comfort food. She
I
used
love
to make
rice.
very simple thing and I loved it. She would make just white rice with chicken broth, and
That's
a
good.
plate of rice like this, like a mountain of rice, because I had a huge appetite.
Yeah.
and it just was soaked in like chicken broth, and I would like.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be.
I
cooked.
would love it, and I remember when I'd have like my wisdom teeth pulled, like that was
Eat
what
that,
she would
yeah.
make, and yeah, so I always liked it. But pasta,
I love
is-
broth. I love
Yeah.
starch.
Yeah, me
I
too.
love.
Oh, me
I
too.
mean, these are the things,
Yeah.
man. Like, I gotta be honest with you. Like, the only time I really crave like fast food is if I'm like had a couple drinks or something, and I don't feel like.
Yeah,
But if I can have like the good stuff,
well,
I'm
I
gonna
crave Italian. That's what pizza, pasta. That's like what I crave.
no good at that. There's none of that over here that I'm impressed with.
No.
It's a shame because I was spoiled with Branchinelli's being so close to me my whole life. That place to me,
What makes Branchinelli's so good?
consistency, ingredients. Their ingredients are great. The chef is great. The management is great, and their product has never changed.
People that I went to high school with that moved to North Carolina,
Come back
Tennessee,
just for that.
will ask people to.
FedEx.
Yeah, some I don't know.
When I worked there, that was like one of my first jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what people would do.
Yeah, they just and when they come back to the island, they go there 2 or 3 meals a day to Branchinelli's. Branchinelli's.
I honestly had quite a few days in my life where I went there twice.
Yeah, it's just very good.
Their food is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Chef Jose is like the man.
Which is crazy that you have a Spanish guy that's cooking Italian food.
no different than an
No,
American cooking
no,
French.
No, but it's
Hispanic men are the like
Yeah,
heart
they're-
and soul of the culinary community
Sure.
in New York.
sure. So when you say ingredients are better,
Specialty cheese.
Okay.
In other words, it's not
like what
Belgian.
makes let's break it down to its very simple basis. What makes a slice of pizza from Branchinelli's so good compared
better
to
quality flour.
Okay.
Maybe they import water from somewhere. Maybe their sauce and their tomatoes are better. They might make their own tomatoes into tomato sauce. Their cheese
they
quality,
import-
they import buffalo mozzarella from Italy. you
Yeah,
know,
that's
like,
what I heard. They
If
imported
you use
stuff.
bad ingredients,
Yeah.
don't go into business.
No.
What
No.
are you trying to do? You know what I mean?
Yep.
I would never, ever do that.
There's pizza places that you can go to, and it literally tastes like soap sometimes.
It's
like,
trash.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just it's garbage. You go to Branchinelli's, and
It's like gourmet.
yeah, their pizza is like it just
Phenomenal.
there's no other place that tastes like it. It just doesn't.
I love. So when I worked there, what my late night snack used to be,
Yeah.
because I'd walk home from there,
Yeah.
I would take a couple pieces of their little house-made triangular breads.
Yes.
You remember those?
Yep.
A thing of sauce
Mhm.
and the cherry peppers that they put in the pasta fazool.
So good.
And I would eat a cherry pepper,
Yeah.
drink the sauce, and dunk the bread in. I'd walk home. It's just perfect. Or I like the stuffed meat slice.
Yeah.
You ever see that
Oh
one?
yeah, yeah.
That's got the sauce.
Yeah, yeah,
Good,
yeah.
the
Ham.
best quality sausage,
Oh,
the best
so good.
quality ham, the best quality pepperoni.
So good.
Mozzarella in the thing, and you got to get sauce.
Yep.
Dunk it.
Yep.
Their sauce, like it's just everything.
I remember the
they
first
have
time
is
I
a
had
step
stuffed
above.
pizza. I was like, I
Whoa.
couldn't believe how good it was.
It's face melting.
Yeah, yeah. To
Their
me,
buffalo
to this
chicken
day-
slice, I know that a lot of people don't consider pizza.
Right, I've
It's
never
the
even
best
had
bu-
one.
You
I've
gotta
never
try
had-
it.
Yeah, I will. I've
It's
never
the
tried
best. They make their own blue cheese, and it's like velvety. There's no chunks of blue cheese. It's God. Everyone check out Branchinelli's and Hop Hog Route 111.
Yeah,
if you
I
have
mean,
not been there, it's
one.
the best
I'm
Italian
sure
food on Long Island.
anyone, pretty much anybody that's on the island that has watched this
You better know about Branchinelli's,
has
man.
known. When I was a kid, we all used to walk because in those days you were allowed to walk from the middle school to wherever, whatever restaurant or something.
Yeah.
And they only had Branchinelli's and McDonald's. All those other places in the middle weren't even built. It was
You
all
know
woods.
what's amazing is that Branchinelli's put Pizza Hut out of business.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Pizza Hut came like when I was in like high school. Branchinelli's
Yeah.
was already there, and it came and went. It
They
just
couldn't keep. I mean,
No.
you got Branchinelli's, you got Pizza Hut. Where you going?
Yeah,
You know?
it wasn't even close. And
they're-
they were there for, like I said, they were there from the time I remember. They were
Yeah.
always there.
They make one of the best sausage and pepper heroes.
Do you know when they opened?
Branchinelli's?
Yeah.
I
It
think
has
in
to be in the
1988.
88?
Yeah.
No.
I think it says it on the.
It wasn't 88. Maybe it was 78. Because I was going to school in 86, 85. I was in elementary and I would drive by. It was open. Yeah, thank you.
I'm pretty positive though.
84 maybe would be the earliest I think it would be would have opened. But what a great restaurant though. And back in those days, along that Route 111, you had Branchinelli's, then you had the McDonald's at the other end, and in the middle you had a Ralph Rotten's candy store, and that was it. And they would compete with 7-Eleven because you could get a slushie instead of a Slurpee.
It's gonna be tough to find.
Mm-hmm.
I might just call them. Excuse me.
Yeah, when did you guys?
When did you guys open? Thank you. You could fact check me, but I worked there.
Yeah, because I
pre-
saw it before '88. Like I said, I saw the restaurant.
Really? Nope. Back in 1989, Emilio
Wow.
Branchinelli. Hold on, if this is a Newsday article.
Okay.
Here. Let's see.
And I like to go to Ciro's if I ever just want like a regular slice. That's like old style pizza. But nothing tops Branchinelli's.
Nope. Branchinelli's is truly. That could be my last meal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yep. My
In all
phone
seriousness.
really regardless, if it is just an incredible experience. Even their like the chicken parm is good. You know, just everything they make is just.
They make
really
some
good.
real Italian specialties.
Yes,
as well.
they do. Yes, they do. And what's cool is that Emilio, I knew him for a while, and he opened Emilio's in Comac and Branchinelli's in Hop Hog. I mean, what a gold mine those places are. They're always crowded. They are always crowded. Phenomenal food. But I guess that is what it is. It's the ingredients that they use.
If you get into the restaurant
Well,
business
fool-
for any other reason,
I'll
that's-
find out today some point. And I'll
it's
return.
88. I'm telling you.
Okay.
But I know maybe there's something else there.
Yeah, you know what it is? Like I said, I had soccer games over there before 88, and I remember driving there as a kid, and I always wondered, what is Branchinelli's? The name, the sign, just like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it was it could have been. I don't know.
I really think it opened either in the early 80s or late 70s.
That would be something.
But I could be, like I said.
I think Ciro's opened like in the
Ciro's
early
been
80s.
around since 74, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the year I was born.
I gotta say though, Ciro's, no disrespect,
Yeah,
but they
I know you
kind
don't
of
like-
like.
Yeah, it's
I
not-
like them.
it's- yeah,
I
so
used
do
to
I.
love them because
It's-
they made what they made awesome.
Right. It's a different pizza experience. When you go to Ciro's, it was like what I remember when I lived in Queens
That's like
in
a
the
real
70s.
Queens pizza.
That's
spot.
what it tastes
Yeah,
like.
Sure.
And it looks the same. What's
They
cool
killed
about
that
it?
shopping center.
Yes, yes.
That place used to be
I know.
a dream
I know.
for a youngster to
Yeah.
like have some fun.
Yeah.
You had two bars.
Hot
You had
bagels.
hot bagels.
I know.
And you had Ciro's.
Yeah, I know.
It was perfect.
I know. My brother's band used to play there, and
Now
I
they're
hung
putting
out
a
up there when I was
Chick-fil-A.
a kid.
First of all, that was the worst mistake they could have. It should have been a Popeyes.
Yeah,
Let's just face the facts of that. Chick-fil-A sucks.
yeah. I've never even been there.
Chick-fil-A's trash.
Yeah.
The only thing they make that's good is
I
the
don't like
house-made
chicken.
lemonade. I like Popeye's chicken.
Yeah,
Try it sometime.
I think I tried it with Mom. We went to my aunt's house one time, and I think we stopped at Popeyes. And she lives in Patchogue, so they might have hit the one.
The
that-
one right
yeah,
here. That's
yeah.
my spot.
Yeah. But
Popeyes is like probably, in my opinion, the highest quality fast food restaurant. They use good quality chicken.
Huh.
They understand that you got to hammer chicken.
There used to be a place in Hop Hog called Chicken Delight, and
Really?
it was different than Kentucky Fried because it had skin on it, but it was like it wasn't breading fried. It was more like a spicy fry on the
Like
outside. It was-
Cajun.
Yeah, and it was
blackened
it
seasoning.
wasn't crumbly. It was like just like the skin was crispy, and it was really good though. And my technology teacher in middle school owned it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of us used to work there as kids and stuff. But I guess it eventually went out of business. But it was a popular spot for a while.
I'm starving now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hungry.
So,
Not gonna lie.
But Branchinelli's, anybody that's from
It
the
kills
area.
me. Sometimes I want to have like
I know.
DoorDash or something
Yeah.
bring it to me, but it's like
I
such
know.
a trip.
Do they deliver? Do you know?
No, they never did.
They never. Right? Isn't that a?
They
That's how you
they
know.
never served alcohol. They only give away free wine,
Incredible.
and they don't deliver. And they are the most.
That's how you know a place
is
yeah.
amazing.
When they dictate the rules for making money, That's how you know. Like
Yeah.
they don't need to deliver.
Take a look around and look at the staff.
I
They've
wonder
been
if they
there.
started now because of COVID. They might have,
They DoorDash.
but like
They never paid their own delivery people.
it's incredible. They never, but you walk in there on a Friday, Saturday,
You
any
can't-
night.
Do you
it's packed.
remember? Well, not even like prior to COVID.
Yeah,
There would be a line there going all the way down to the Chinese
I know.
restaurant down at the end.
I know. It's crazy.
And I remember working there. I was like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
No, I was probably like 16.
Mhm.
But I would just be like this dumb pizza boy behind the counter
Yeah.
looking at all these people.
Yeah.
Just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
And then they get you because you can get a slice of pizza while you wait.
yeah. It's amazing.
They make more money on pizza than they make on food.
When I was, like I said, when I was in school, kids would. It was always like after there was a Vinny's Village Pizza also. So you had three. You had Pizza Hut, Branchinelli's, and then in the shopping center across the street where Brennan's was, there was it was called Vinny's Village Pizza, and that was also where a lot of the teenagers from the high school worked. So we used to add. We actually all went to Vinny's during the day, and that was like the hangout. People would meet there, and at night everybody hung out in that parking lot. Branchinelli's was more just like an upscale, like if you go with your parents or something.
Yeah, you
but
went to Branch.
but Vinny's couldn't touch Branchinelli. I mean, they just there wasn't even
Branchinelli's
close.
is truly in a class. of
Yeah,
its
it is.
own. I don't care what people say about Little Vincent's. I don't care
Not
what
even
people say
close.
about Ciro's.
Not even close.
Different ball game.
It's not even close.
Different ball game.
It's not even close.
Little Vincent's makes a good pie.
Yeah, it's just
You know
not.
what? They also make. All right, here's one thing I'll give them. They make the best eggplant parmesan hero I've ever had because their eggplant is like paper thin,
well, that's
and
yeah.
that's a huge little
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Yep.
It is delicious. So
Interesting.
for what that's worth,
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah, I mean they've been in business. Look, any place they opened in '74. That I
Yeah.
remember. That place is a staple.
That place is a staple too
Yeah.
with the pizza guy.
Yeah.
Looks like what was it, Big Boy? The Big Boy's Burger.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing.
When I got my first tattoos as a kid, I remember there was only 2 tattoo parlors in Suffolk County, and I had to drive. And it was the first time I ever drove my car because I was like 16, 17 when I got them. I had to drive my car from Hauppauge all the way to Selden, and I remember passing Little Vincent's. And all of us had never been that far into Ronkonkoma. We were
Right.
like, "Whoa, what is this? This is cool."
This is like magic.
Yeah, this is a pizza place.
Yeah.
Cool. And I was, just seeing that guy with it was cool. But that's another place, man. They're open all night. It's packed.
Till 4 a.m.
Yeah,
COVID really screwed everything
it
up.
did. It did. It did.
Life
So,
was pretty good before it. Now, everything is on a different schedule.
well,
You know, things are a lot more quiet.
yes. So hopefully it does pick up, but we'll see.
We got to get through Cuomo and De Blasio first.
I
Bad
can't.
news for me.
Yeah. Well, I think that everything will. You look, if it's not good news if Biden wins because they're looking to shut down again. So you gotta.
I don't think he would shut down if he.
I
won.
don't think he'll be able to shut down as much as but he will try. There's make no bones about it. They definitely are using that as a way to get people to kind of rely more on the government and to that's what the name of the game is. So he did say I would shut things down. He did say that. I don't think he means a mass shutdown like before, but he'll try to slow it up a little bit or try to really give some heavier rules. I mean, businesses have to survive, and
Well, they're only going to shut down the small businesses.
yeah, well,
Walmart,
of course
Target,
they'll remain open.
they'll be good.
Yep,
Dick's,
all the big
all
boys.
those places.
Yeah, but the guy running a neighborhood. Look, there's a place by me. I never had it, but it was Anthony's Coal Fire Pizza or whatever. Never had it. Like I said,
good.
but they're closed.
Yeah.
COVID. They couldn't reopen after it. Boarded up and everything. So it's a shame. It really.
They say 50 to 60% of restaurants in New York within the next year are going to be gone forever. That's a real study,
incredible.
which is, from a selfish point
Yeah.
of view, that could be great for me
Right.
if I was to open something because
Sure.
I could probably get a sick place for nothing, and it makes room for some new blood. So you never know. It
Yeah.
could actually open the
What's
door.
scary now is opening a place like that, and God forbid something
Right,
else happens.
another lockdown.
Now
You gotta
you're
be-
really rolling the dice because that business is one of the first to get cut off if there's a COVID.
It will come back though.
It will come back,
It will.
but it's just very. It's
Right now though,
you know,
it's like very.
yeah,
You gotta really.
it's the unknown. man.
Opening up a to-go spot right now is where it's at.
That's yeah.
But
Yep.
it's kind of tricky to.
Any place that you have a business where there's a gathering of people
Yeah.
is tricky.
You know, in catering, if you cater for someone's event, you have to be sure that you're only catering for 50 people. If you prepare food in tins,
Yeah.
send it out, you're not allowed to prepare more than food
that.
for 50 people.
Wow.
Otherwise, you can lose your license. You know what I mean?
Incredible.
So that's how.
Yeah.
They
no,
got
they
it.
they do. They do.
So we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
We're almost at an hour, and I'm tapped, and I'm starving. I'm gonna order a pie pizza.
Nice. That a boy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not Branchinelli's over
Oh,
here. But
God. It's Popeyes or pizza, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
all right.
But anywho's, that's it for today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Maybe some interesting
Have a
things will
great
happen by
day.
this evening to report on. And that's that. Everyone have a
Bye-bye.
good one.